You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast presented by GoHighLevel.com. For a free 30-day trial of the best all-in-one digital marketing software tool on the planet, just go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis. What's up, moneymakers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast. Today, I'm giving you a sneak peek of this week's episode of my main show, Travis Makes Friends, a podcast all about the most valuable asset that we have in our lives, our relationships. So whether we're talking about your network, your marriage, your friendships, or even your relationship with yourself, these conversations are designed to help you grow, connect, and level up in all areas. I've sat down in person with everyone from world-class athletes and entertainers to best-selling authors, entrepreneurs, and even former presidents. And you're going to love the snippet from this week's episode. So take a listen, and if you're feeling it, go check out the full conversation over on Travis Makes Friends. Let's get into it. Stand-up wasn't a thing until like a couple decades ago, right? It's pretty new. So how did you get exposed to it? Who were you following?
Weirdly, like growing up, the first guy I really liked was Louis C.K.
Do you know when you tell somebody a story, then a week later you tell them the same story again because you forgot? And by this time you've added a bunch of lies to it and you've embellished it.
But the thing that I really made me like comedy in general though was Family Guy. My dad let me watch it. Like is like my first memories of like anything.
Lois!
I do wonder if like showing children like that sort of thing, like if it like carves that part of their brain.
My roommate is a model.
I actually did live with a model before. Some of the comments were like, "Oh, he stole this from a Reddit post," and I'm like, "Dude," and I'm like, I tried searching on Reddit after that.
When you go through a video like that, how much of it is scripted? Is it 100% like you take time to write the whole script out? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Travis Makes Friends podcast, where it's our mission to help you avoid loneliness, make some more friends, maybe deepen some existing friendships that you have. And I'm just doing that by showing you how I go make friends, which is basically this podcast. So today I am in New York City making friends with Sean Millea, who is an Instagram comic. He writes sketch comedy and does a bunch of comedy stuff over there. His stuff's been blowing up all over the place. Just had a few of my friends sending it to the group chat and stuff like that, which is how I became aware of stuff that he had going on. Had a couple interviews in New York, reached out, he said yes, and now we're here. So Sean, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show.
What's going on? It's cool that you make friends through this podcast. Like, do you also do that with like dates? Like invite women on the podcast?
You know what? I'm married.
Oh, okay.
So, but if I weren't, it's honestly just the best way to meet people, dude.
Yeah.
It was the surprise thing with the show. It was like the coolest thing about it that came out of it is just the people that I've been able to talk to and connect with. But it would definitely work. Like you're essentially on an hour date with whoever you invite on.
That would be cool because then I could go back and see where I went wrong too, if she stopped answering me. So I have a date Sunday and there's no...
and it's not a podcast, I'm assuming.
It's not a podcast, no cameras, and it's during the day. And we're not going to drink at all. So that's also... makes it a little more challenging.
Yeah.
But
you have to rely on your actual personality that way.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then more so like the move in for the kiss afterwards. And that's never easy sober. Is that gone? Oh, that's a Zyn.
It's Zyn, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm off the nicotine.
Are
here
you?
In a few months, yeah.
Okay. How come?
Because it would make me feel sick. It would make me like bedridden, but also I just was never like really that addicted, and then all of a sudden I was buying them and throwing them away every day and like trying to quit. I don't know.
See.
But yeah, I just never enjoyed it.
Okay.
Like, as much
well, that's a good reason to stop.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to quit weed again, so we'll see.
How's that going?
I was 2 months off, and then on New Year's I was drunk and I hit a stranger's wax pen outside of the bar. Literally, I went out to the smoking area like I'm going to ask a stranger to hit their wax pen. Didn't even feel it. And then the next day my buddy was like, "Well, it doesn't count if you didn't feel it." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm going to go hit my mom's weed pen."
Yeah.
I've been struggling once again.
And every day since.
Yeah. There's days where I don't, but the one thing I've been good about is like relegating it to the nighttime, which is fine. But still, I can just tell like my body is like slowly going back to my old self.
Sure.
Just like give it to me before every chore.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can function on it for sure. Because like I'm a few weeks off of it myself.
Okay.
And it was literally just a nighttime thing. It was, to me, it almost like signaled the end of the day.
Okay.
You know? And then my brain is just overactive. So I'll just constantly be doing stuff, thinking about stuff, and, smoking a joint or something, just like turns it all off.
See, that's not
go to
me.
sleep.
It
Oh,
turns
really?
it on. Like I'll get anxious and I'll start overthinking everything.
Oh, interesting.
The one thing I liked it for and still kind of like it for, and in the video I watched yesterday, they said it best, which was like it makes any experience feel novel.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's what I always thought. I'm like, oh, if you're doing nothing and you're bored, or if you're doing nothing, it's boring. But if you smoke weed and do nothing, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
So like I would use it to like literally wash the dishes or like I learned piano, and part of that, it was in college I learned, and I would go to the piano room every day, and I would smoke right before I went in, and I'd end up practicing for like 2 to 3 hours. And
Well, it also passes the time.
yeah,
Like, you don't realize how much time has gone by.
totally.
sometimes, yeah.
So I mean, I guess I did use it like judiciously.
I was going to
guess
say
is
that's
the
a
word.
pretty constructive use.
Yeah. So I don't like, it's not like I'm like, I hate it or it's like ruined my life, but I would like to, I don't know, just not
Take
be
it back a
reliant
little
on
bit.
it. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
kind of sad to me, the idea that would I be a different person without it? Like, would I have no talents? I mean, like,
I want to sit with that a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do you find that it helps you creatively?
yeah, like I think it's mostly just them making me want to do the thing. Sometimes it helps me see something from like an alternate perspective a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
like I'm like oh, like I cringe at myself a little more. But I don't know that it like really makes me think of things I wouldn't have necessarily. It's hard to say, but
Yeah.
sometimes I'll write on it and then I'll read it sober and be like, oh, this actually wasn't good. So
That was my experience most of the time. It was
Yeah.
like something that I would think was great, whether it was for like I have this folder in my notes that's labeled like comedy or jokes or something, because I keep telling myself one day I'm going to try it, and then
Okay.
then I
You
push it
should.
out and I don't try it. But I just have this whole thing. So like whenever I would get high and like think of a good idea, I would like write it down. But probably more often than not, I would wake up the next morning and be like, this doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
But I thought it was hilarious at the time.
That's that's it too. You should try it though. I think it's
Yeah.
you'll never regret doing it. Even if you bomb, it'll still be like, oh, I tried it.
Yeah,
And,
like what's the worst that can happen?
yeah, and nobody's thinking about you. Like they're just
Yeah.
like thinking about themselves. So like definitely worth trying. I think.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to just sign up for. Did you just sign up for open mics or something when you started? When you
The
started?
first time I did it was I did like the Comedy Cellar classes,
Okay.
which was like with Rick Crom, and like the Comedy Cellar is like the
place to be.
Yeah, the coolest spot. So it was like cool to get to go there, and it's like it's in the morning, so like you're just in the showroom and nobody's in there, and then so you do that for a few weeks, and then at the end you do like a showcase where everybody invites like friends and family. I think I was like the only one to not invite people because I was so scared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I feel like an audience of strangers is actually better.
it's so much better. Yeah. To this day, I mean, I would like prefer to not have people on. Sometimes actually, if it's a comedian, that actually is much because they do the thing.
Sure.
But,
Sure. They can actually be helpful.
Yeah,
And they're
they
not just
get
like
it.
giving you courtesy laughs in the audience.
Totally. Or they might even give you courtesy laughs, but they like at least they've been there, so they get it. Like,
I went to this one where it was basically the majority of the audience was made up of people that this guy that was on stage knew.
Right.
And so like it, you can I feel like it kind of almost give you this overconfidence, like you're killing.
Right.
But it's only because the audience knows you and has a
Totally.
personal relationship with you and understands like the context of every joke that you're saying because they
Right.
get things on a personal level with you. So I feel like that's not a great place to test it out.
No, definitely not. My mom will my parents will come to shows as much they're very supportive, which is cool, but I don't love doing it in front of them either. And it's not even like my material's like crazy. It's more just like I don't know. I just feel weird.
Yeah.
And my mom laughs at everything, so I should want her there, but I just feel like weird. I don't know. They watch every podcast I do as well.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, mom and
Yeah,
dad.
they'll watch this for sure. But yeah, so that that can make it more challenging, especially like when it's strangers. It's definitely like, well, I don't know them, and I might never see them again, and they'll forget a week from now my face. So.
Yeah, they'll forget the lineup of comedians that they watched. Yeah,
Totally.
So did you grow up in New York then?
No, in New Jersey. Yeah.
In New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that where your family lives currently?
Yeah, like
Okay.
2 hours from here, and then went to NYU. So I lived here since like whenever I went. I think in 2015. I left for the pandemic and stuff, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did your parents do, or what do your parents do?
My mom is a nurse, and my dad is a roofer, but now like works in like an office.
So naturally, you became a comedian.
Yes, exactly. I was on the roof every summer in between in between like semesters at college or whatever. But yeah.
So, but it taught you a little bit about work and discipline and
my dad always was like, oh, that'll teach you to stay in school or whatever, and it definitely did. It sucked. It was like, especially during the summer, like
that'll teach you to stay in school.
And it's like, dude, it was just like, because you just go and you rip up fiber, like you get there at 6 a.m. and you get like a razor blade and you just cut into rubber because it's a flat roof.
Yep.
And then and the rubber's wet, so you're soaked at 6 a.m. And then it's like fiberglass that you're ripping up, and so it's all in the air. You get itchy.
Yeah.
And then by 12, you're like now just standing on metal, and and now it's getting hot, and then you just put back down roof. And there's this guy Curtis. He was the foreman, and he would always fall through the roof. He was like known to fall through. And I was like, that doesn't sound. And like literally day one, I watched him fall into like up to his thigh, and just got out and kept walking. And he's like foaming at the mouth.
Like it was nothing. Yeah.
Literally, and. Yeah, so that was a crazy...
That seems like something you shouldn't be known for.
No, and he like survived crazy falls that like, no, it was just like, I don't know how, but yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those people that makes all the rest of our medical insurance go up.
Yes, yeah. But good foreman, I guess.
Yeah.
He took the falls that we didn't have to.
Yeah.
So that was cool of him.
Shout out Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis. But no, yeah, so that was cool. I mean, it was like that's like my, if things went to shit, I'd have to roof again. And so that's like,
Yeah.
It's
pretty motivating.
It is, yeah. It is.
What'd you end up going to school for?
Film.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So you always want, like like high school and everything, were you always kind of joking around?
Yeah, I like my 5th grade yearbook. I have like a photo that says like the occupation. You like filled out and everything. And it said like comedian and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I've always wanted to do that. But
who were some of the comics that you used to watch that kind of made you think that like? Because I mean, it's from what I understand that in the history of comedy, like stand up wasn't a thing until like a couple decades ago, right? It's pretty new. So how did you get exposed to it? Who were you following?
Weirdly, like growing up, like when I wrote that, like in 5th grade, I think it was just because I'd always make the class laugh. It wasn't so much having a comedian I liked, but I think like the first guy I really liked was Louis C.K. And then, and to this day, he's still like the guy that I think is the coolest. There was times where I liked George Carlin, but like it wasn't like me laughing as much as being like, oh, this guy's cool. And like, who else did I like? I think my friend's mom really liked Dane Cook, and I remember being like, that was when I was really young, and I was like, oh, he's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dane's the man. Shout out Dane.
Yeah, Dane.
Dane's been on the show.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And then, but the thing that I really made me like comedy in general though was Family Guy. My dad let me watch it. Like, is like my first memories of like anything or like Family Guy.
Did your parents watch it?
Me and my dad would.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's the opposite of my experience.
Really? They didn't let you watch?
I would sneak Family Guy because I was not allowed to watch it.
Yeah, they just kind of let me watch whatever at some point, and I think I don't know if that's what made me like creative or not, but that's like my theory. So
anything Seth MacFarlane does, I watch.
Yeah, he's great. And then like a little bit of South Park too, but mostly it was Family Guy, and I think just like it's cool. Like I do wonder if like showing children like that sort of thing, like if it like carves that part of their brain, like I don't know, that like developing brain becomes funny or.
Well, there's certainly something like there's something magnetizing about comedy in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even the most well put together business professionals, you know what I mean? Like still hold successful comedians in this kind of light.
For sure.
I mean? I was actually having this conversation with Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers. Well, I say I was having it. It was basically I was kind of a fly on the wall backstage at Zany's in Nashville, and it was Joe and a few other comedians that were about to go out, and they were talking a lot about that, and how it's. He was talking about the lead singer for Imagine Dragons, whose name I'm blanking on right now, but he was talking about how they talk about what's cooler, which one would you rather do, you know, and how everybody just wants to do the thing that they haven't done, you know. So like he's talking about how cool it would be to stand in front of an audience and kill, and Joe's talking to him about how cool it would be to stand in front of an audience and play your music.
Right.
You know?
I don't know. I do think though, like it would be like I think like one of my favorite artists ever is like John Lennon or like the Beatles in general, but like
Yeah.
John Lennon and like music is very cool to me, and I guess it is like sort of like grass is greener kind of vibe. But you kind of can get the. I feel like they get their like comedian rocks off by like doing the interviews in front of people, and they can still get laughs. So I not that I would trade comedy for music, but maybe I would. Maybe I would.
Not that I would, but probably.
Yeah.
Like if you could sell out, whatever, name the arena.
Right. And
would you rather it be for comedy or for music?
Well, I guess comedy. I mean, it depends. Like if I'm like Beatles level talent.
Yeah. Well, the Beatles like invented fame.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They were so famous, it was insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess comedy. I don't know. I want to do both, maybe, but I'm not close to that.
Like the musician path is not a.
Yeah, but I mean that's not to say I'm that with comedy either. Like I aspire to be that, but yeah, like it's not like I'm like shoving aside a music career that I'm like, I could be like the greatest ever. It's just like I daydream about it. Ever since I was a kid, I've definitely daydreamed about fame in general, but like it's always been like I'll listen to music and I will imagine it's me doing it, and then I'm like in front of people being like sick.
Yeah.
To this day, I'll listen to like some rock song, and I just imagine like I'll be in like in a green room with comedians I respect, and they're like, "Look at him go," and I'm like playing, and then I'll try and do that at home with like a guitar or piano, and I'm like, "Why do I sound so bad?" So my at least I'm self-aware, I guess, but not when I did that with boxing and stuff too. Like I box a little bit, and I've been learning kicks and stuff. And there was like a point, because I did the Skankfest boxing. It was like musical chairs boxing. I don't know if you saw. I did like a video about it, but it was like basically I ended up fighting 6 people, and I won each one. And it wasn't that cool because like some of them had no experience, right? But after that, I was like, maybe I should have like tried boxing as a career, and I'm like, what if I did MMA? And then anyway, I went like 2 weeks ago to this MMA gym in Jersey, and we were like sparring, and there was this random guy that was like super beefy. He's like, we're gonna take a real light because you have you don't have a mouthpiece. I'm like, thanks, yeah, you're right, like let's just take a real light. Next thing I know, I'm on all fours crawling like it's Fortnite. I was knocked out, and I'm like, I like didn't know. I was like confused.
Yeah.
And I
This
had
is your
to,
version of taking it light.
Yeah, like the guy was like, oh, I heard him say to the coach, he was like, he walked into it, which he took no accountability. My friend was like, he does that to everybody. He goes too hard. And so part of me was upset because I'm like, I think if I knew that was the energy we were going to bring, I would have done better. But at the same time, there's another part of me, my ego took a huge hit where I'm like, why did I ever think... Because I've imagined
that I could just step into this realm.
Yeah, like I've literally imagined the UFC, like the post interview where I'm like, "Thank you, Joe. I'd love to tell you more about it on the pod." Like, and I'm like, flexing, and this guy shattered all of that. But I think it speaks to like I, as much as I can be self-aware, I do have this like fantasy in my head that which it spreads to music and evidently fighting and. I don't know what the music version is of me crawling on all fours, with a concussion, but I think it is a reality.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I think that speaks to why you're naturally a creative. Because I feel a lot of those ways myself. Like, it's difficult for me to imagine only doing one thing forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's why I have the podcast.
Yeah.
It scratches so many like curiosity itches where I can have a conversation with a best-selling author like talking about with like James Clear on the show, and then I can talk to Dane Cook, and then I can talk to a YouTuber, and then I can talk to a psychologist, and
totally
I can get that curiosity taken care of in a way that still allows me to be kind of creative with it, but give me exposure into those different worlds too.
It is cool. Like you're just getting like a minor in all of these different subjects through speaking to people.